Wow, you're on Talk Radio, right?
He said, we've had a complaint. Somebody's phoned up because in one of your videos you're being untoward about paedophiles. Oh my God, don't be ridiculous. I'm not a vet, but I know what a dog is.
Would I go to a women's refuge in your world?
Well, no, because then it wouldn't be a women's refuge, would it?
Cancelled.
He's a man! There are boys and girls toilets in schools, and girls don't have access to single-sex facilities on the basis that we are changing. I'm asking you, as a mother, do not use female spaces.
So then there's the problem, isn't it?
What do you have against trans women?
I don't. I just don't think they're women.
Cancelled.
Hi, how are you on this beautiful Christmassy Christmas break, whatever it is. However it is for you, I refuse to say holidays. I'm English. I don't say holidays, I say Christmas. And it is Christmas. I'm not going to say that word again this evening. Let me just tell you how you can call. Welcome to you new people on Twitter. I'm back on Twitter, did you know? I don't know if I mentioned it already. Okay, so this is the way it goes. I set up the phone line properly, which I haven't done because it's Christmas. You call me on the numbers that I'm just about to tell you. So if you're in the United States of America and you want to call toll free, it's 0877 729 1771. If you're in UK, it's 0800 058 4204. Canada is 888 835 6088. If you're down in New Zealand, it's Freephone 800 441 607. Why are you doing this to me? My whole computer has decided not to cooperate with me at all, which is great. If you're in New Zealand, it's 800 441 607. The rest of the world, it's +44 204 515 2251. If you're in Australia, sorry, I missed you out. It is 1-800 959 819. And for some reason, my system has decided to completely lock me out of everything. So I'm just going to sign in because this is quite ridiculous. I've just got this horrible feeling it's not going to work. So do bear with me. I came out to my computer this evening to find that my camera was missing because my son had stolen it. So that's why I'm late. And then this is good, isn't it? Because then everything else is going a bit weird. But anyway, I hope you're having a great Christmas. Any minute now, the phone lines will start. So unprofessional, so deeply unprofessional. I don't know who would bother tuning in every week. Yeah, there you go. Let me try this again. For some reason, this whole new thing is not recognizing me. Anyway, how are you? You okay? You having a nice time? While I reset this up, just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Don't know why it won't just let me sign in like a normal thing. I hate everybody. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, I'm now going to have to go back to resetting my password. Oh, I hate everybody. I think it might be working. So weird that all of my systems have kicked me out. So let's read where you're from while we wait for me to be a complete and utter question. It's good though that this is the first night I'm on Twitter and it's all going really badly wrong. Okay, so hello everyone. So Patricia, Rudy, hello fellow bigots. Jump for Joyo says, Jump for Joy 6 says, I'm waiting to get my Twitter back. Hello, Amanda Benson. Hello, fellow TERFs. Good morning, good evening, good evening. Oh, my God. Please ignore women. Oh, okay. Anna Lou says, please ignore the women who try and please how you run, standing for women. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to enter her phone number because apparently she causes trouble in a lot of places. Look, I think it's fair comment for anybody if they so desire to comment on whatever happens with standing for women. I'm just not persuaded by it because I've not listened to anyone for a long time, so I'm not actually too bothered by you know, if people think I'm doing it wrong, they can just do what they like. That's what I say. So please work. I might have to reset this whole thing, which is just quite ridiculous at this stage of the game. But things do kick me out every now and again. I'm gonna get all nervous that I've been banned. So if I'm not banned, it's all good. Hello from Norfolk. Your camera is flipped wrong. Thanks. Let me do that. It's all going really well so far. So, yay. There we go. I did think it looked weird. Oh, okay. It's now just about to work. That is so irritating. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. So let me just double check and make sure that we can receive phone calls. Yes. Okay. Okay. Finally. I'm going to read those numbers out again because, you know. Oh, I look all normal now. Isn't that great? Okay, so we'll probably go on a bit longer this evening. But anyway, good evening. You're through to TERF Talk Tuesday. It's been difficult, I must admit. But my name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say? Hi. Right. And what did I say? Did I say yes? I have, and I'm going to write it down. I do this a lot. But yes. No, but I have actually got a PA now. So I know I've come up in the world, don't you know? I've got matching underwear and a PA. And so yes, so we will write down Bournemouth, we will schedule it in. Oh, how nice is that? And have you managed to get to any speakers' corners, or is it just too far? Yeah. No. Yeah. No. And sometimes the content is not particularly child friendly either, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, just from our side, but yeah. Yeah. Nobody can hear you except me. So I think I've just tried to sort that out. Can you keep talking for me just to see if they can hear you? Oh, it's Mercury retrograde apparently. I don't even believe in any of that, but Apparently, Mercury retrograde. So Kellie-Jay can see. So everyone's saying to me, it's just you. Silent movies are great. People are saying Kellie-Jay can't see the comments. No caller audio. I can hear you, which means this computer, everything should be able to hear you. It's so bad. Not a sausage. Right, just stay with me, caller. Just stay with me because you're going to help me test the whole thing. Okay. Look, I could program a video machine, like a VHS machine when I was all right, okay, so everyone's saying it's still silent. Okay. Well, caller, thank you so much. I'm going to tell everyone what you said, and I'm going to try and fix this ridiculous thing. Very exciting. Well, I'm going to find out what the hell I've done wrong. But thank you so much for your call. I'm going to do something. Cheers. And you. Bye. Okay. Right, people. The only way I can hear a caller is through this. Right? It's not my headphones. It's not my headphones. I use them every week. Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad. Right. So I'm just going to go through the checklist of everything. I'm just going to go through my audio here because, all right, Rodecaster, audio input, and audio output. You're going to have to just. Well, I look nice. It's just as well I look nice because my brain's not working this evening and something else is really going on. You can't hear any caller. Okay, there's no other caller yet. Right, we're going to do a test together. I don't need a technician. This works every time. I don't need a technician. This works every single time. It's always fine. Okay, so everyone can hear me. All right. Can you hear?
Maybe it was right that if you take those views, maybe you should be cancelled. Are you an expert in this?
Can you hear that? And could you hear? Could you hear the video at the beginning? Okay, so you can hear.
Maybe it was right that if you take those views, maybe you should be cancelled.
You can hear James Max.
Are you an expert in this?
Okay, so you can hear James Max. So we're just going to do this together because we are a global constituency of women. And this always works. So I have no idea what's happening. Okay, right. I'm going to make the phone line available. You may be heard, you may not. So we will see. There is absolutely no reason that the phone call shouldn't be heard because it comes through the same Rodecaster mixer. So if anybody dares to call, you might just speak to me. You might actually get on TERF Talk Tuesday. It's entirely up to you. I think I'm blocked by H. I haven't bothered to check because I might have blocked him myself. Hello, good evening. You might be a guinea pig. You might be an amazing caller. People may hear you, they may not, but you are through to TERF Talk Tuesday. What would you like to say?
Hi, Kelly. It's Leslie. I just thought I'd help you out.
Thanks, Leslie.
Can anybody hear me?
Right, we're just going to ask now because you're always a bit ahead on the phone. So now we're going to ask, can you lovely people hear Leslie? Leslie, keep talking. Keep talking, Leslie.
I don't know what to say. A, B, C, D.
Oh, yeah, you can be heard. Leslie, you saved the day. It won't be the first time. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Well, it's probably best not asking. No, I did not.
Oh, really? Not great.
I was in an awful lot of pain and I couldn't get out of bed, so I was on my own. But I felt better the day after, so I went and had my Christmas dinner with my family the day after, so it wasn't too bad.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, look, you always make this lovely chat a little bit Christmassy, so maybe that was you'd used all your Christmas magic up just before Christmas, maybe. But thank you for testing this whole thing this evening. It's been wonderful. Thanks so much.
All right, then you take care of yourself.
Oh, love to you. Have a really great 2023. I feel it's going to be great.
I might try and get down to Glasgow, I think. I'm just thinking about it. See how well I feel. I'll have to dose myself up with lots of painkillers.
Well, I think it's going to be quite good. And there's also Newcastle, which is probably a little bit closer on the 15th.
Yeah.
But that will be bitterly cold, I would think. Well, they probably both will. I'm going to wear a very warm coat.
So are there like hotels and things nearby, like cheap ones?
I would think so. I know in Glasgow you can spend a lot, or there are sort of, I mean, I've stayed in some really nice hotels in Glasgow, but I'm pretty sure there's a full range of prices, both, and also often there are pretty decent hotels right near the train station, all the airports, to make everything like less annoying and travelly.
Oh yeah, you're going up on the plane, aren't you?
Well, yes, I do. I love flying so much. I thought I'd go up in a plane, but yeah, I'm not.
Will you be wearing your Will you be wearing your matching underwear?
I will. I will wear matching underwear, matching socks,
in case you're knocked down.
Matching socks, matching underwear, the whole damn lot of matching, even matching earrings.
I love the socks, the suffragette ones.
They're so amazing. I've just had to put another order for like 500 pairs because they've gone quite well, and I feel they might be a rallying cry next year. But it's so lovely to talk to you, Leslie, and I really hope to see you then.
Okay, then you take care, and everybody else take care as well. Have a lovely New Year.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, can I just also say to my lovely moderators, Rebecca and the Band United, thank you so much for all your fantastic work throughout 2022. It really does make a big difference. I especially like it, Rebecca, that people complain about you a lot, which means you must be doing something right sometimes. But both Rebecca and the Band United, I've chosen them because they have A, they're completely committed, and B, they do have completely different views, which I think makes for a more balanced chat. I'm not saying anybody needs to agree with either of them at all. I just think it just makes it a really good chat. The fact that even the moderators don't agree with each other, but they don't attack each other either. So we've got scarves coming in, the knitted ones. We've got about 500 of those landing in the next couple of days. We've got these suffragette umbrellas. More socks have been ordered. More posh scarves have been ordered. The whole thing. It's really going to be the time to be the billboard wherever you are in the country, because it might be happening in Scotland, but we know that other places will be next, and we know that the Labour Party, if they get in, they'll be doing exactly the same as Scotland. Keir Starmer is a moron, and we know that he will start doing crazy things like that. So let me remind you of the numbers. I promise everything is working now. The first caller was from Bournemouth. She asked me if I was going to go down to Bournemouth, and she reminded me that I'd already said yes, because it's only like an hour's drive. But she also said, because of our chat, so this is what we do, women, because of the chat, she has managed to find other women local to her that are also now going to be going out and stickering with her. So she's found a tiny little local community in Bournemouth, which I think is amazing. And that's what we do all over the globe. We are inundated. We are going to be interviewing and training more women to actually be able to verify and validate people who want to come and be part of Standing for Women Local, because at the moment it's taking quite a long time, and people, I think, need to get involved as soon as humanly possible. And Jane, who does all of the verification at the moment, she does so much work, but it's really difficult. There's only so many hours in a day. So if you're waiting, thank you for your patience. We will get round to you as soon as humanly possible. Let me just say the phone line is open. You shy women, if you don't speak, you cannot be heard. So let me tell you of the phone numbers, since they're no longer going round either. Oh, I'm having an absolute mare. USA 08777 291 On the UK, it's 0800 058 4204. Canada, it's 888 835 6088. Australia Freephone is 1800. Good afternoon. This is Kellie-Jay. You are through to TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say? Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kellie-Jay, let me just stop you on the YouTube. Hi, I'm actually on the West Coast.
Hi.
And I've been a very long-term TERF because, of course, my mum is very much 100% and always has been 100% TERF. She's not with us any longer, but she definitely taught me to TERF full-time, which I've taught my two daughters who are 22 and 19 and protected them from all the nonsense over here. But what I wanted to ask you about, actually, I saw something on Twitter today, which is about the concept of non-violent resistance, because people were asking about the women who had their signs torn away and how they responded, and that some people felt they should fight back. And I mean, I do feel the women in Tacoma were right to use pepper spray, you know, when they were directly attacked. But I just wondered what your philosophy was on non-violent resistance and how you feel women should respond if they are attacked physically.
So my view on everything I do is that I speak to women, not for them. And I'm certainly not, I don't ever want to be in a position of telling women what they can and cannot do when faced with violence. It's really not for me to say. The only person I'm responsible for when it comes to how they respond with violence is me. So one of my sons was in Philadelphia, and I told him in no uncertain terms, no matter what happened to me, he was to stay away. So he's my son. I can tell him what to do, right? But when it comes to other women, I'm certainly not going to condemn the women that pepper sprayed when she felt she was in danger. I'm not interested in that at all. Other women wanted me to condemn that behavior, or even when women talk about annihilation or extinguishing or whatever, when women use those sorts of words, when they are talking about people that have drawn their kids into a cult, I won't condemn those women either. However, I don't think it's the business of any women to be telling any other women what they should or shouldn't do when faced with violence. There is no glory in being beaten while you don't respond whatsoever and just allow violence to be meted out against you. So I don't really have a philosophy on that. I think if somebody tried to be violent against me, I think in that moment, I would be able to judge whether or not I would make myself more at risk by responding with violence. But I do know, and I'm sure you know, because you're a mother as well, someone touched my children, I don't know if I'd be able to stop the violence. So if somebody had attacked my son in Philadelphia, I don't think there's much anybody could have done to drag me off as I killed somebody with my bare hands. So that's how I feel about violence. I feel it's each and every woman's responsibility and decision. Now, that doesn't mean that I think all bets are off when it comes to trying to make the least violent and risky situation for women when they come to a meeting of mine, because obviously I have some responsibility to that. But the rest of it, I'm not going to start telling grown women how they should or shouldn't behave. I'm not a seasoned activist. I'm a woman that just wants to allow women to speak. That's it. What do you think?
No, I just was interested. I also don't necessarily have a strong opinion. I was just really interested because of that discussion hadn't come up before that I was aware of. So I was just really interested to see, just your response and what you thought about that. I feel I'm pretty much agree. I guess it's just more that when women are in a group and if they have an identity as a group, if the group has but you're saying even when women are in a large group, the group itself wouldn't have a policy necessarily. Or I guess again, it's just you're only talking personal, if I know. So I guess it's just, I guess I'm just wondering about what is effective, what is effective in terms of I mean, might not necessarily. I'm in the US, as I mentioned. I might not agree with a lot of the way that people are protesting about how they feel about the environment in London, but it's definitely getting people's attention, whether we agree with it or not, or like their behaviour or not. And that is obviously non-violent resistance, you know, unless they're destroying something, but they're actually physically not hurting anybody else.
I just don't know if anybody really, with that sort of non-violent resistance, I'm not sure that anybody could tell you specifically what they're protesting about besides some sort of vague idea of saving the planet. Like, I don't know.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think that's not particularly effective in terms of, I feel like they should do something, especially in Britain, more with humour. I think that'd be way more effective.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess it's just interesting because I did it a long time ago, but I did actually study in the US that very thing. What I mean is just as a history of civil unrest and civil protest, non-violent resistance and violent resistance, and you know, I just never really thought about it in this context. So I mean, that's the only thing often that will prevent me doing something, is because I'm worried about the violence, especially over here in the US. You know, doing certain things, knowing, if you draw that on yourself, knowing I still have kids in high school and I don't want it to have repercussions on them. So I mean, it is so frustrating for us as women, obviously, to know that that's the whole point. We're talking about male violence, you know, that's the whole issue for all of us. So yeah.
I mean, those women with signs, I don't really know what they were supposed to do when someone comes and grabs your signs. You're not being threatened, are you? I just mean more like, if somebody came and started, if someone was going to spit in somebody's face, then I think it's okay for that woman not to stand there and take being spat at in the face or being pushed around. I think that's fine. It's just, I'm 5'1", so violence has never been something that I've been able to respond with. But as yet, touch wood, nobody's actually really proper violently attacked me that was bigger than me. But that obviously isn't something that I feel I could guarantee in 2023. I think it probably will happen. But I don't know. I'm never going to win in a fight against a man. So I'm not saying that non-violence is the answer, but probably something a little more clever than responding with violence is a solution that I would look for myself.
I guess women, when I think about it, women have often responded safety in numbers. You know, when we've wanted to, all the way through history, when women want to make a stand, women have got together in large groups, because then just, you know, just more of us together gives us more protection. So I guess, the more we organise and get together in groups.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It is. Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to mention, I couldn't get through previously because if you call from the US, you want to get rid of the 0.
Oh, have I put the 0 on the thing? Sorry.
Yeah, just knock off the 0 if you're calling from the US.
Okay, thank you so much. Right, well, I will amend that. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you for everything. I've been following and you know, helping with all the fundraising since about 2015 when I came back from Europe, and I was like, what is going on in the world? So I had no idea this craziness was happening in the US and everywhere else, because I'd been in another nation which had not really been affected at that time. So
well,
I never bought it for a second. I don't understand anyone who ever did. So anyway, but thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Have a really lovely new year.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, I must amend that straight away then. Oh gosh, it's not my night. It's been a crazy time. Well, good morning to you. You are through to Tough Talk Tuesday. You can say you are, you don't have to. What would you like to say?
I'm not really through, am I, Kellie-Jay?
You are. Good morning.
Oh my gosh, my first time calling and I got straight through. Hello.
Yay, what great timing.
I'm calling from Australia. I won't say my name. First of all, I just wanted to say the most massive thank you to you for everything that you do. I've been following you since, I think, 2016 when you did the first billboard. And we just love you here in Australia. We are so excited that you're coming. My birthday is in March and I'm in Melbourne, and I'm hoping that you're going to be in Melbourne on my birthday, because that would be just the most amazing present ever. I'm a teacher, and I've been teaching for 17 years, and I can't tell you the number of kids with a trans identity that I teach.
God.
And beyond that, there is a general confusion amongst the majority of kids that I teach about the nature of biological sex.
God, how old are the kids?
So I teach secondary. Mostly the kids I teach are 15 to 18.
Right.
And it's really scary. Can I tell you the story of how I first really understood that this was going to be an issue?
Of course you can. Yes, please.
I was working in a school that is, I won't name it, but it's a historic school because it was set up in the context where when like Melbourne was still young, the boys had a high school, like a government school was set up to educate boys, and there wasn't really a school set up to educate the girls. And that situation continued for a really long time until a philanthropist gave private money to set up a school for the girls. And I was working at that historic school for the girls, which is all about female empowerment and everything. And I was informed by, the girls had got a pride group together and had a bit of a think about it and gone to the wellbeing people. And we were told as teachers that we were not to address these girls as girls.
When was that?
And I was just we were told that we were to address the students as students, but not as girls, because, maybe some of these girls at this school that was explicitly set up to educate girls and explicitly acknowledge the disadvantage that being a girl had been educationally, that I was not to address them as girls. And I was just like, what? Can you be serious? That was in 2015. And that was the first time I was like, I can't ignore this anymore. I've just been politely sort of thinking, oh, well, it's a bit weird, but, it's never going to be a big deal. And since then, it's gone from that kind of thing to I work at a different school now. We had the Australian version of mermaids come to our school and basically coach us as teachers on how to socially transition kids without engaging parents.
Wow.
Because that's the law in Victoria.
Wow.
They have this whole mature minor thing where if the school, if the principal reckons that it's a good idea, they can and will socially transition your child without telling you.
Jesus Christ. I know in my kids' school around 2015, because that's when I moved from a city to this small town, I know that they were just getting instructions there not to say good boy and good girl. They were beginning to erase boy and girl out of any of their sort of good, bad, whatever. Those words were beginning to be erased. So this has been a long time coming, hasn't it? This is well planned.
It has, and I kept just wishing that, surely people aren't completely insane, but it's that they are.
Did you know people would be this stupid, though? Because I think we've always had fringe elements of society that were insane and awful. We know that terrible things go on all the time, but I had no idea that so many people would either be complicit or stupid.
It's deeply shaken the entire way that I see the world. And I'm a socialist and I remain so. But the way that I regard the kind of progressive Guardian reading people who I always thought were sort of like me, but maybe just not quite there. It has completely upended the way that I see them. It's actually horrible. I don't trust anything now that sort of comes from that worldview.
Yeah.
Ultimately it's a good thing. I think of being a TERF as you live in truth. You stare into the sun, but you live free. But it's shaken my entire view of reality, society. I've lost some friends. Sorry, you go.
Let me just ask you then. So when it comes to, sorry, I just read some comments then, which I never normally do. When it comes to what is going to wake up Australia, I mean, just going back to your comment, sorry, about your worldview. If anybody utters any of this nonsense, I can't take a single word they say seriously. I just don't trust them. I either think they're stupid or they're a liar. And so anybody that repeats this instantly, I just discount everything else they say. So I'm really left to quite a small number of people that I can even watch on the television at all. But what do you think is going to change Australia? What do you think it will take?
I don't know. I think it's going to cling on here. And I think, unfortunately, I also come from an academic background. It's going to cling on there for a long time. But I will say that I've become just really, really open and reckless.
Yeah.
I basically don't get through a single conversation, basically at the shops without introducing this subject and just turfing out at people in some way.
Me too.
I do have to be a bit careful because my kids, the students that I teach, need to have faith in me, and some of them kind of work it out, like the really smart ones. By the time they get to the end, they're like, they piece together everything else about the way that I kind of see things, and they probably guess. But it wouldn't be good for my students to feel like I'm some kind of, Voldemort type figure. But beyond that, like, I'm not scared anymore. I do think that TERFs tend to internalize the shame, like the stigma and losing friends and the fear. I do think that we do edit ourselves more than we have to, because we've somehow internalized the idea that we're bad people. Like, fuck that. If they bring some woman, they brought this Susie Green of a woman to our school with the child that she intends to castrate when he gets old enough, and they thought that we were just going to walk out of there and nod our heads. Like, most staff did, but I didn't. As soon as it was safe and I only had a few people around, I kicked off.
Well, your kids are lucky to have you. Whether they know it or not is another issue.
Look, a friend of mine recently peaked, and she was bad. She was deep into it. She's a Trotskyist, she's in socialist parties. And you know the thing that piqued her? She's a highly intelligent person, and she told me that she had been led to believe that puberty blockers were safe and reversible, and not only were they, but that there was an evidence base for gender medicine. She now feels angry that she was misled, not just that it was safe, but that there was an evidence base, which there isn't. So I think that might help with the parents. But as far as the kids, we have a generation of young people who are going to take a really long time to recover.
I agree with you. I think the legacy of harm for societal cognitive dissonance and lies and manipulation and coercive control and all gaslighting and everything else that we want to label it as, I think the harm of that is absolutely catastrophic. And I think you're right. It will take a really long time to heal.
So in Victoria, most parents don't know that the school board's authority, so the authority that builds new government schools here, has done this creepy, sneaky thing. They insist that all new school buildings only have unisex toilets. They call them all gender. So I work in a new school. There is no female toilet. We have hijabi Muslim girls. There is no female toilet in the building. There's one, because there's a gym that's used by the public. So if you go sort of into this little downstairs corner of the school, there's a female toilet and changing room, and the girls congregate there like a clubhouse, the ones that know about it. Every time you walk in there, it's like a reminder of why girls need female spaces and what girls use female spaces for. And most parents do not understand that this was actually controversial. I spoke to someone in the school board about it, that the government from on high pushed through this thing. You will not build any sexed toilets in new school buildings for these kids.
So we have a law in this country that has been ignored, but we have a law in this country about single-sex provisions for children age 8 and over. So is it possible that there is something like that exists that they've just overridden, but possibly illegally?
That's a great question, and I'm going to look into it, because it wasn't just that, they wrote this into legislation. They actively went to the school building authority and was like, no, we're serious. You have to do this. It was obviously, it wasn't just like, it was a priority that it had to go through. So yeah, I'd like to look into that.
That is mad. That's utter. Can you imagine being on that? What was in that room? Oh, we must have single sex. We must have gender neutral, all gender toilets. What about? I would imagine not a single person said, "What about girls?"
No, they wouldn't have, and they would have all walked out patting themselves on the back at how special that they are. Like, seriously, the Department of Education here is one of the epicenters of the horror.
Right. Well, we can at least.
Kelly, before I
go on.
can I ask the TERFs of the world, but especially the UK, a bit of a favour? Is that cheeky?
No. Carry on.
We are so inspired by TERF Island. Like, we just, you know, I know that, you know, sometimes in the women's movement we're told you're not supposed to put women on pedestals, but I think that's bullshit. I think that we need heroes. So much of this is so lonely for so many women that you and other women who've done so much, we just, oh my God, Elaine Miller, what a woman. We are just so inspired. I guess I would just love to ask the TERFs of the UK to just cast an eye over Australia. Like, we feel so isolated. We feel like, you know, when something kicks off on Twitter, it's so amazing when we get the support from the international TERFs. Can I ask people to maybe have a look at some of our TERFs who would be Angie Jones? I think you know Angie.
Yeah.
And Kit Kowalski, who are doing some really, really amazing work in Australia and deserve like a little bit more amplification, I guess. All I'm saying is please think of us, please pay attention to our stuff. I have got this intricate knowledge now of freaking Scottish politics. It's quite weird. Because of my obsessive like following of what goes on in Scotland. And I guess I'd just love to say to the TERFs of TERF Island, please think of us, especially next year when you're here.
Well, we certainly will. And yes, amplified, you know, at least a couple of the names that you've mentioned, but there's plenty of women in Australia and New Zealand who
Sal Grover,
yeah.
all kinds. Yeah, we've got some top TERFs.
We've even got, I bet you don't, but we have Standing for Women Australia. So do join with them.
I've just connected with them. I'd like to do some stuff. I mean, I don't want to be, unfortunately, Kelly, my personality is a bit reckless. And I'm just sort of thinking through what I can get away with when you're here, because I don't actually want to be face to face with one of my trans-identified ex-students on the barricades, you know.
Okay. Well, I look forward to meeting you.
But I'll be there. All
right. It'll be really lovely to see you. And you said you're in Melbourne, is that right?
Yes. No, can I give you a massive hug when I see you in person?
You can. I don't mind, you know, I don't mind hugs. I'm all right with hugs. Yes, of course. I'll have of course you can. It'll be really delightful to meet you. But Australia is going to be amazing. I can't tell you how much I can't wait, but I can't wait. But nice to talk to you.
Thank you so much for everything you do.
Cheers. Bye. Good afternoon. You are through to TERF Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hey, it's A.G. Philbin calling from the belly of the beast.
Hi there. How are you? Oh, have I cut you off? I think I've just... Sorry, I had too many calls coming in. Let me make that available. Oh, that was so rude. I'm so sorry. I had 3 calls and I was trying to get rid of the extra ones coming in. Good evening. This is TERF Talk Tuesday. This is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say? I can't get rid of those calls. Hello.
Hi. I can't even believe I'm on right now. This is crazy. So my name's Sarah. I'm from Boston.
Hi, Sarah.
And I wanted to let you know that I am absolutely like inspired by your bravery and the fact of how well you handle somebody that's either trying to rip you apart or they're just being fucking assholes, you know. And I strive to be that, be like that, be able to handle that type of situation better. I do better than I did last year. And I just wanted to say that, like, women in Boston, like, we support you and we see you. And I was on a space earlier, and my background is in helping survivors of domestic violence, because that's just my situation at the moment. I'm not unique, but that's how I got introduced into like the gender ideology, because I was ignorant towards it only because of the shit that I was going through. And once I started educating myself and just watching you having that platform, because you're not making it about you, you're making it about giving people and women a safe space to share whatever they need. And I have a huge community, and the UK must love assholes, because my whole community is from, you know, Scotland, or England, and you know, I'm an acquired taste as a Bostonian, but I just wanted you to know that, like, I support you and I see you and I admire all the work you're doing. I'm trying to educate myself on everything because it's like so much information to take in. But it's breathtaking, like your grace when you go through it. I don't know how you do it, and I hope one day you come to Boston.
Me too.
And bring your riot gear though, because we're, New York was nothing compared to Boston. I feel like it would be, and I think that this bullshit, I'm sorry, I have to address it because I was in that space earlier, where women make shit about what isn't being done, right? And at the same time, like, what the fuck are they doing? Besides picking apart the things that aren't being done. But you're doing shit. You're out there. You're standing tall regardless. And you're on talk shows. You're doing what you need to do. And it's not easy in a field that it's not just men, that we're up against. I feel that with domestic violence anyways, like the men at least can pretend to be nicer about it. It's like I get attacked by, older women that think that they piss Opal. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. They just act like fucking royalty. And no one's better than the next. We're all sisters, and we don't need to like each other, but we need to link arms and realize that this is going to affect generations to come. Violence against women.
I totally agree.
Going into our spaces. So I'm so happy I got through. And I have a really good group of friends. My friend Anna, my friend Taylor, who's an advocate for domestic violence as well, and my friend Amanda, who's amazing, my friend Kay, the Female Union. We're all trying to do anything that we can to link together and make this something that we can either educate people on or just fucking rage at this point. Because I'm not really, that could just be me, but like, we need to link together and get over the bullshit, get over this, we're affiliated to. Because I live in Boston, who knows? I'm sure I have a relation to somebody that's an asshole in an organization that is racist, like it's Irish Catholic Bostonians, and that doesn't mean that's what I see. I see we need to be sticking up for women and letting women speak, and I appreciate you, and I hope you know that. Boston is standing with you.
Thank you very much. Boston is definitely somewhere on my list, for sure. But I'll just get a bulletproof vest and some riot gear. But
get it.
Can't be that bad, can it?
I may know a guy. I may know a guy, Kelly. So don't you worry about it. But I just want you to know you're making a difference, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
A lot of women allow other women to speak, and it's really disheartening. And it sucks. It sucks that they can't get out of there, like self-loathing, like misogynistic entitlement. I just want us to make a difference.
Yeah. Let me just put
my kids to be safe.
I do too. And I do think there's enough women that have our eyes on the prize that we really can ignore. Let's face it, those that constantly criticize and come out, the women on our side, supposedly, that constantly criticize, they get fewer and fewer in number, and they get fewer and fewer likes and amplification of their voices. I think more and more women are understanding that actually we are a global constituency of women. First and foremost, we are women, and all the other stuff comes after. We have a shared experience of our female bodies and what they mean to us in comparison to what male bodies mean to men. And so I really am quite hopeful. I find it quite easy to ignore these women. I've had to do it my whole life. There's always been some women who are ready to try and tear me apart. So I've had a lot of practice. I'm very good at it. So, and
honestly, I think I identify with you because I'm 5 feet, right? I'm 5 feet and spicy as well, and I can draw a crowd. But the thing is like I just have this like I just want to get shit done.
Yeah.
I just want my daughters and my son to have a better life, and I feel like if we fall, obviously you're human, but if you're leading by example, and that's what we're going off of, and people need to just shut the fuck up and listen a little bit to what you're saying.
I feel like I should grab that little clip and just play it on a loop. But thank you so much, and I really
thank you so much.
I look forward to meeting you sometime in 2023.
You too, girl.
All right, lovely.
Besties for life. I see you. you, Kelly. I see you over there shining. So do you, boo-boo.
2023 is going to be the year we win.
It's our year.
All right. Love to you.
All right, have a good
Bye.
one, love.
Bye. Oh, how lovely. It's just really massive, isn't it? For all of us everywhere. This is just, it's not one issue, it's everywhere. Good evening. My name is Kellie-Jay. You're through to Tough Talk Tuesday. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Oh, good morning, Kellie-Jay. It's Michelle from Women's Action Group in Southwest Victoria, Australia. How are you?
Well, hello. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, really well. I can't believe I got through. That was really quick. I hope you had a lovely Christmas.
I did. I had a really lovely Christmas. Just my husband and children. It was peaceful. Lovely. What about you?
Oh, yeah, no, that's fantastic. Yeah, wonderful. Same thing, just the family. It was wonderful. Really, really lovely. I just thought I'd ring through, and if it's okay with you, just let everyone know who's in Melbourne or in Victoria, Australia, that Women's Action Group, we've started having or holding Speakers Corner events in Melbourne. Hopefully will extend to regional Victoria. We started last year, and we won't have we won't have one in January because it's holiday season and we'll be on holiday, but we will resume. But of course, in March, when you come over, we'll obviously, we won't have one then. We'll be supporting you with your event. So we can't wait to have you come and, hopefully, shine a light on this issue because, mainstream media, it's not just us here in Australia, it's pretty much everywhere except for TERF Island, it seems. Mainstream media are absolutely useless in reporting, on this topic without any bias. It's always, positive about transitioning children. No such thing as a trans child, by the way, if anyone's listening to that. So our intention, and by the way, you are the inspiration for our Speakers Corner event, might I add, and I did say that in my opening speech for our very first event.
Thank you.
What you've always said, Kellie-Jay, is, if not you, then who? If not now, then when? So, we've taken that to heart and we've run with that. So, and I also want to give a shout out to all the wonderful women. I won't name them because I haven't been given permission, to say their names on the airwaves. But thank you so much. It's a lot of hard work putting it all together. And to those of the women who may or may not be listening today, thank you very much for helping us out, and also to help out with your event coming up in March as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Did you comment before about something about law and policy? Was that you?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. So no disrespect to the teacher who called in before, but it's not actually law. What schools are doing, it's policy, which is a different thing. But I encourage everyone to check out our YouTube channel and on our last, because we also record our Speakers Corner events as well. And in the last Speakers Corner event in Melbourne, Nina Vallon spoke and she explained about, what the law says here in Victoria.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking, sorry, I should clarify, and I'm speaking specifically about the conversion. Oh, look, sorry, Kellie-Jay, the name of the law is so convoluted, but it's the Conversion Therapy Prohibition Law.
Gosh.
Yeah. The law itself is very roundabout. It's just designed, it's just worded to make people scared and frightened of having an opinion about gender, which, by the way, I don't really believe in gender, but that's just my own personal thing. But in fact, there's no law in Australia or actually in Victoria that says you cannot speak publicly.
Right.
And in fact, if you go to the Victorian, anyone who's listening who's in Victoria, if you go to the Victorian Human Rights Commission, you go to their website and you dig deep, you have to uncover it all, you will find there that it actually supports anyone who has an opinion on gender identity. So you are in fact allowed to have your opinion legally on gender identity.
Yep. Wow, you can have your opinion But you can't hang on to your kids if somebody
But,
says that they're trans and you don't
well,
affirm, or is that not in your state yet?
well, it is. Well, it kind of is. And this is the thing: is that they are. It's all being done. How can I put it? Like I said, Nina Valens put it perfectly, and I'm doing probably a terrible job of trying to explain what she said. But the law really, when it comes to children and their gender identity ideology, it is very roundabout, and it is really, really only to do with the counsellors and the psychiatrists, rather like the medical profession, rather than everyone else.
Right.
Although it's vague in that area on purpose.
Well, yeah.
So what I guess the point of what I'm ringing about is to encourage people, to, well, first of all, come along to our Speakers Core event if they'd like to. We're going to have one in February. And then, of course, once after yours will be continuing, April, et cetera, throughout the year. But come along and listen to the speakers there, because we have, some incredible people turning up, just like, everywhere else where these Speakers Corner events are held. And, many professionals, and they will talk about the reality of these laws. And also you get to meet, as I'm sure you can attest, you get to meet some incredible women. And afterwards, when you, get together and go for lunch or go for a coffee or whatever, go for a drink, the bonding process, that I think that's where the magic happens. And it's just, it's incredible.
Me too.
Yeah, it's incredible. So thank you for the inspiration.
You're very welcome. I'm so pleased you're doing it. I do think on the it's great to hear speeches. It's great to stand and speak. And I'm sure you've seen it as well at your Speaker Corner events, that somebody will be quite worried and quiet, and then they will speak, and you kind of see them transform in front of your very eyes. And then what you see is a group of women who sort of maybe a little bit shy or not really knowing anyone, within just a couple of meetings, if not the first meeting, they're laughing and getting on really well with each other in this sort of little social event that you have after. It really is quite a inclusive environment, like genuinely lovely building and bonding and growing a community of women. I do think it's pretty magical, but I'm so looking forward to meeting you in March. And as soon as I've got my itinerary, I will let you know, I promise.
Yeah, fabulous. No worries. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling. Cheers.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we've got Commander Blue with Super Chat, €5. WPath, read the Redux story, read Glinner, listen to Eliza Mondgreen, still at O'Malley, WPath link to fetishes about castrating kids. Hello, good evening. You are through to TERF Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are, you don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hi, Kelly.
Hi.
I'm a TERF from Sturgeon's Sick, Scotland.
Oh, how are you?
And I'm one of the women whose private group was recently infiltrated by a notorious Scottish TRA incel.
Damn, I'm
who
so
likes
sorry.
to post pictures of himself with weapons and things and threatening women and various things like that. So, yeah.
I'm so sorry. I guess the lesson is that nowhere is safe. Don't ever write anything down you wouldn't want to read out in a court of law. But
Yes.
it's still, I mean, that's why we have such a long verification process for Standing for Women locals, which is painful for people to wait. But, I don't think you can ever be 100%. But how are you women feeling? Do you feel there's a bit of a change in the general public in Scotland now that they genuinely know what's at stake, or do you still feel really quite concerned that this is the beginning of the end as opposed to the beginning of people's peak journey?
No, it's definitely the beginning of, as one of the speakers at the Holyrood protest said, the women's rights movement has been reignited, as well as the gay rights movement. So we are very much determined, and we're very looking forward to Glasgow.
Me too.
And I'm blown away by the courage and strength of Scottish women. Elaine Miller springs to mind.
Elaine Miller and Elaine Merkin Miller. Yeah, amazing. And I think it's really interesting on the backdrop of that pervert who got his penis out with fake breasts on the television being celebrated and lauded as like the TV moment of the year, on when Elaine is sort of treated as if she's done something absolutely heinous. If that doesn't say misogyny, I don't quite know what is. Because apparently Jordan is a woman, so he was just getting his womanly penis out, and Elaine was actually getting a fake womanly merkin out, and yet the fake merkin is terrible, but the woman's penis on the television is absolutely fine.
Well, fake is real to these people.
That's true.
So
yeah. Well, she had a very large vagina then, vulva, whatever we want to call it. Very real and massive. But I think if the Scots were asleep before, they've really got no excuse now. And I think you're right that, I mean, look, I've known for women Scott and Magdalene and Marion and all of these women in Scotland, I've known for a long time. I've known how hard they've worked for such a long time. But they have been doing it with their hands tied behind their backs because they couldn't really get the word out beyond certain newspapers. A lot of women were still fast asleep to all this. And so they fought a really good battle, but it was difficult nonetheless. And you've obviously got J.K. Rowling on side, also in Scotland. So she's got relatively deep pockets. So, yeah, I do think I just hope that this is the rallying call that everybody needed to come and actually start fighting for women in Scotland.
It will be, absolutely.
I big and hope so. But
we will never surrender.
No, well, I don't blame you. I won't either. And I'm going to come. I'm so looking for. I've got 3 different hotels booked. So I need to cancel 2 of them, but I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. I absolutely loved Glasgow the last time we came up. So I look forward to meeting you.
Yep, likewise.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oh, can you imagine? It's so bad. So bad, isn't it? Good evening. This is TERF Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You are through. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hi. I can't believe I'm going through. How are you, first of all? Thank you.
I'm really great. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. My name is Rudy. I don't mind saying my name anymore. I probably, if this had happened a few months ago, I would have, but I've had quite enough. Thank you very much. So people can cancel me all they want. It's fine. Yeah, I just a very quick thing, or hopefully it's quick, I would like to say, not just yourself, but a lot of the women in this movement, I just really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank especially the mothers that are fighting for women and children's rights on this, because I would have been one of these kids, for sure, had I been growing up now. Growing up as a young gay boy in the 90s and 2000s, at the time, God bless him, he's come a long way since, but at the time my father was very homophobic. And as a result of that, I was constantly being told that, because you like girls' cartoons, or because, I don't know, you think the prince in The Little Mermaid is cute rather than Ariel. Those are things that girls do and things that girls like.
Yeah.
And honestly, for quite a few years during primary school, that really confused me. Because anytime I expressed any of those things about myself, it was always met with either disgust or, these things aren't for boys, all that. And yeah, it's a very sad thing. And I have to say that the thing that kept me from going down a very dangerous path was having a TERF as a mother.
Right.
And, having a woman in my life that really allowed me to learn to like who I am without having, to change anything about that. And so that's the thing that's really made me start speaking up on all this. So I just want to encourage as many mothers as I possibly can to protect their children from this, because God knows where I would have ended up.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I'm calling from near Glasgow, and I shall be there.
Oh, well, I very much look forward to meeting you then. And everybody's mums are tough. So realistically, except the old handmaidens, but all the TRAs that come to our meetings, all their mums are toughs. I'm absolutely sure of it. In fact, I'm sure that's why they're TRAs, because they're just trying to have a go at their mums. But I look forward to seeing you in February.
Yes, absolutely. I shall be there. Me and my partner. I can't wait. And yeah, should there be any trouble, I won't be quiet anymore. So you've got our support.
Well, thank you so very much. It's really nice to talk to you. Have a fabulous New Year.
You too.
Cheers. Bye-bye. In the
Bye-bye.
chat, Zeds says, do the Nordics, Norway in particular. I do want to go back to Norway. I have been discussing that with my husband. Hello, good evening. This is Turf Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hello, Kellie-Jay. It's your friend Brandon Showalter from Washington, D.C.
Hi, Brandon Showalter. How are you?
Doing all right. I wanted to call and wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and to declare that we're going to win in 2023. And I just want to tell you, and I know you know this, but these Loudoun County parents and D.C. area parents, you made their year by showing up as you did. And you're such a shot in the arm, and I'm just excited to see where this whole thing is going to go. Very much looking forward to seeing your documentary, and it's just going to be great.
Oh, it's going to be so good. I'm so excited. My trailer got released, and just I did say to our good friend, who will remain nameless, I did say to our good friend, how much time have you put aside for Photoshop? And apparently none was the answer. But I still think he did a great job with some good amount of lighting and some good color. So I'm utterly delighted. But I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to tell a good story about what it is like for American women trying to speak in a country, one of the only countries in the world that actually has the First Amendment right to free speech. It just doesn't feel like it if you're a woman trying to talk about this.
Well, yeah, and I'll never forget being there on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and just seeing, the one TRA in particular who legitimately looked clinically insane, and you could just see the seething rage coming out of her eyes. It was just like, we're confronting something truly dark and horrible. And I've been around TRAs before, but that was just it was just kind of surreal, just being that up close to it. It was really bizarre to behold that. But no, we welcome you back to the US of A any doggone time.
Well, thank you so very much. And thank you for all the work that you do. Brandon actually writes, for those of you that don't know, Brandon writes for the Christian Post, not so much anymore, I think. But
no, I'm there. I'm still just doing longer term projects, term.
Right. Okay. So more proper journalist, really sort of deep dive stuff. Amazing.
Deeper dive stuff.
So lovely to talk to you, and thanks for your comments. And I'm definitely coming back to America. I found my spiritual home, if you like, in the USA.
Oh, love to hear that. Love to hear that. And it's just music to my ears. And one last thing before I go, real very quickly.
Go on.
I want to just tell all of your listeners, there is documentary filmmakers, including the one that you're in. Documentary filmmakers are filling the truth-telling void left by our legacy press here in the United States. And I would just want to put on everyone's attention a new film called Dead Name. I make an appearance in it. it profiles 3 families that have been shattered and disrupted by trans ideology. You see some truly jaw-dropping things. It's available on Vimeo. It's a small fee to watch, but I think, as you well know, Kelly, from spending that time with the moms at the Heritage Foundation a few years ago, the absolute meat grinder that this puts families through, it's a suffering like no other. And there's going to be, I think, a lot of journalistic work left to be done on the carnage for the ruptured relationships of moms and dads who've watched their children collapse into this madness. There's a caller earlier said, and you agreed with, the damage of all the brainwashing and indoctrination that's happening in the schools. Like, well, the family shattering is a story all its own, with how much just rupture has happened. I don't think we'll ever see the full scope of it, but it's huge and it's horrifying. But I don't know. You're the heroine to a lot of Loudoun County parents who were just so glad to see you recently, and so you're going to have to come back and visit your friends.
I definitely am. I feel like I've got a second home in Leesburg, so I'm definitely going to go and
Very
stay there
good.
as much as possible. Such a lovely family, really great friends for life. And thank you to you as well, Brandon, for your kindness and hospitality when I was over in the US. But have a really happy New Year.
Well, you too. Love you, Kellie-Jay.
Love you too. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Honestly, I lots of things happened for me in the United States of America that were incredible, that were utterly life-changing and amazing. Okay. Good evening. This is TERF Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You are through. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say? I think I've lost everyone. I'm still available. But yes, it was just a brand new set of eyes. That's what I feel I came home with after my time in America. Just on a personal and a professional level, in this sort of activism, but also in the friendships and all the just amazing things that happened, truly. Good evening. My name is Kellie-Jay. You are through to TERF Talk Tuesday. You can say you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
It's A.G. Philbin again.
So
I guess we had a phone problem. Sorry.
I was getting 4 calls in at the same time, and I was trying to cancel the other calls so that I could hear you and stop the pinging, and I cut you off. So I'm so sorry. Hi, how are you?
Okay. All right. How you been?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How are you?
Not bad. I'm glad that you've decided to appropriate the acronym TERF. I have a few words I'd like to fill it with.
Go on.
So let's start with truly evident real females.
Yeah.
And also truth, evidence, reality, and facts.
Nice. Yeah, they are. Well, they're more appropriate to me than a trans exclusionary radical feminist, because I'm certainly not the last of those things. I'm definitely not a feminist. But I think I'm relatively radical, and I definitely am trans exclusionary. So yeah.
Okay.
I'll take.
Yeah, I don't know what they would call me. I mean, they have to call me a te, I'm just
or maybe just a term. Maybe you could be a term. But I hope you had a nice Christmas. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, I did actually, and I wish you a happy New Year as well.
You too.
And one other thing, just about that woman who called earlier about nonviolence.
Yeah.
Nonviolence works against state actors that are concerned about bad publicity. It does not work against non-state actors.
Right. So, okay. So
they don't care.
Right. Right. Fair
they
enough.
They will kill you anyway.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But it was a pleasure to talk to you, E.G. Philbin, and
A.G.
That's your
accent.
It's just
okay.
Your accent. A.G.
From my New York accent, which I can't get rid of.
Yeah, well, don't go changing anytime soon. It's a nice accent. But you have a fabulous New Year.
You too.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Hello, good evening. This is TERF Talk Tuesday, or good afternoon, it might be. My name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hey, Kellie-Jay, you've got TERF mail again.
Hi, you've got TERF mail. You're a bit lucky on the old calls.
Kellie-Jay, I used to call into radio stations when I was a girl to ask for Kiss songs. So I know how to do it.
Come on, love it. Although, you know,
I
maybe
totally do. Love Gone. Oh, really? Oh, Kellie-Jay, they rocked so hard.
Did that?
It
Well,
was so much.
I'm
It was
48.
fun.
Are we a different age category? I'm
I
48 and
think we are.
English. Okay, well, that might be why. I'll excuse myself on that basis. What would you like to say? Did you have a nice Christmas?
I did have a lovely Christmas, like very quiet, very pleasant, very peaceful. Yay! And I'm glad
Yay.
to hear you had the same.
I did. Yeah, my kids didn't even
Good.
argue all day long.
It's a miracle.
It was a Christmas miracle. What would you like to say, my lovely?
Oh, I have a rant today, Kellie-Jay. I have a bee in my bonnet, and it's directed at a couple of gentlemen. That's right, Peter Boghossian, I'm calling you out. Colin Wright, I'm calling you out. I am exhausted with men telling me that they're doing a social courtesy to men and women when they call men she and her pronouns.
I agree
It's a
with
lie,
you.
and I want
bizarre.
them to know it. Peter Boghossian, I will tell everybody to read your book, How to Have Difficult Conversations. It's a terrific way to figure out how to make people speak what they believe so that you can rationally and reasonably hear them out. And then if they're interested, engage them in a conversation where you show them that they are in fact acting like a lunatic.
Yeah.
So it's a super valuable book. And I don't know if you ever saw this. He did one of his epistemological. No, that's come out all wrong. He did one of his things where he was asking about men in women's sports, and he had a woman who was all for it, and then he had a poor woman on the end who was almost hysterical. She was saying, like, everybody knows this isn't real, and this is the craziest time in my life. So he had face-to-face interaction with a woman who was befuddled and enraged and super upset doing this exercise. And yet a month later, he goes on his YouTube channel, and he and his friend call Mr. Dr. Rachel Admiral Levine she and her for social courtesy. And Colin Wright just tweeted just about the same thing the other day.
Social
and gentlemen,
courtesy
it's
to
not
whom?
true.
Yeah, but who's the social courtesy for?
Exactly. If we're going to frame this as being polite, then we need to figure out, how does that ranking of politeness work out? Does it work for women in prisons? Does it work for girls who go to school and told that there are no such thing as girls? Does it work for boys who are told that because they like a doll, they have to go on wrong sex hormones and never have babies and never have sexual function? And Kellie-Jay, I'm really mad today. Does it work for the people in the room that you're lying to?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Like everybody, if you're in a room with 20 people and you're saying Mr. Dr. Admiral Rachel Levine is a she and her, you're lying to everyone in that room, and you're forcing a narrative that says that it's polite to lie.
And
it
now also ruins
your
own you ruin your own integrity, and I think you make everybody think that you're not quite the kind of robust, scientific, decent bloke that you were trying to portray yourself as.
I want them to know you sound insane.
Yeah.
When
and
you're
gutless.
A man or a woman and you call somebody by the wrong sex pronouns, I immediately think you're insane. I just want them to know that. Like, I have no respect for you.
I haven't heard either of these guys say it, but I'm just going to say men, especially men with conservative point of views who claim to understand that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. And I'm pretty sure I've even heard the king of all reason, Ben Shapiro, use the wrong pronouns for somebody.
Right.
I just think it just ruins all your credibility. Like, why bother arguing at all that, you know, men are men and women are women if you're then going to use female language for men? It just makes you sound like you don't know what you're talking about and you're a bit gutless. And it also reminds me that the reason women should be leading this fight is we're the only people that genuinely bloody understand what's at stake.
Well, Colin Wright is in a romantic relationship with a woman. Peter Boghossian is married and has a daughter. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is how you stand for the women in your lives?
Yeah.
No, they need to hear it. So I thank you so much for giving me a chance to get this off my chest. I've made like 5 videos about this because every time they do it, I feel enraged all over again.
Well, I just think they have no business to be in this space. No man has any business to be in this space whilst they make pets of AGPs, whilst they call AGPs like good friends, and where they use female language for men. I just think go and have your own little fight about it somewhere else. Don't claim to speak for anybody. Don't speak to women. Don't pretend to be on our side, because whilst you use our language for someone else, you ain't on our side at all. You're on your own side. And it doesn't reflect anything that we need. So bugger off.
Well, isn't that it? They're approaching it from their level of power where it doesn't affect them.
Yeah. And I'm just going to remind everyone, I'm not making this personal because I haven't heard either of those two men. However, if I did, I would make it personal.
I can't even tell you. And they put us all in danger because they frame it as being polite. So if you're in a "it's ma'am" situation, right? And just by accident, you can't perform that gender woo in the right way, in the right time, in the right place for that man, and he loses his mind and he goes at you, that's down to people like that.
Yeah.
Because they've created a narrative that we're all trapped in where, yes, you will perform it. You will say the wrong words. And if you can't get it right, heaven help you.
I'm just going to ask people in the chat on your behalf. Everybody in the chat, do a number 1 if you ever use somebody's preferred pronouns. And if you never do, put a 0. So that's everybody in the chat. If you ever use somebody's like pretend pronouns, you put a 1. And if you never have, I'd like a 0. Thank you so much. Thank you for your call. You've got tough mail. You raise an interesting point. I think we're going to find that everybody absolutely on this channel agrees with you. So have a really lovely new year, and I might see you in 2023. We never know.
Goddess willing, we will cross paths.
All right. Love
Thanks
to you.
for the rant.
No worries. Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye bye. There we go. Isn't that lovely? Look at all those beautiful zeros. Oh, somebody put a 1. 0.5. Never, though. At some point I did. Oh, I love these. It's so mad, though, isn't it? I really do think these. Right, I'm going to take one more call and then I'm going to go. But it's quite maddening that anybody would use female language. I don't want to tell people how to speak, but please don't use female language for men. It makes me murderous. Good evening. You are the last caller on TERF Talk Tuesday. My name is Kellie-Jay. You can say who you are. You don't have to. What would you like to say?
Hi, I'm not going to say my name, but basically I'm a gay male. I've been watching you, Kelly, for absolutely months, and I've not been able to say anything because I'm actually banned from YouTube. But I just want to say you're absolutely amazing. You talk common sense, and I hope you come to Leeds again because I would love to meet you.
Oh, I love Leeds so much. So many happy memories. I mean, I don't have a great memory of my time when I was at university in Leeds because I was having a great time. But yeah, I lived in Horsforth and Headingley. And I even lived somewhere really dodgy that I can't remember where it was. But yeah, I don't even remember a couple of my addresses. Like I said, I really did have a great time. But I do plan to come to Leeds again because I think, maybe the day that Mermaids closes, we could have like a street party.
Maybe. I think the thing I just wanted to quickly say was that I do work. I'm going to be really prickly how I say this. Let's just say I work in a shop, and we do have fitting rooms. And the only thing I would just ask is that I'm doing my best with, trying to keep the men who, the autogynephile out. So I just ask for the fellow women here, please, if you want your boyfriends to see what you're trying on and stuff, please don't ask them to wait and look down the corridor when I've got other women there.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to safeguard them as well. And I don't want men looking down there. And that's all I ask. Because I find that really awkward as a store worker trying to keep women safe.
Well, that's a jolly good point. I always come out no matter what I look like. From a change. In fact, I rarely try clothes on anymore because I know what fits. But yeah, I look forward to coming back to Leeds. I'm going to be in Newcastle. It's not too far. Probably come to Sheffield at some point as well this year. I've got so much to fit in, but yeah, Leeds is a wonderful place. But thank you so much for your support, and good luck with getting back on to YouTube. But I'm on Twitter now, so just join me there.
Thank you. So nice to meet you, Kelly.
All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you beautiful people. We are over and out. Look, technically, it was terrible this evening. Content-wise, pretty impressive. So thank you all so very much for joining me this evening. Thank you to everybody that called in. You really do make this such a valuable experience for each and every one of us. If you can, put your differences aside completely. And you can focus on the prize, the eyes on the prize, ladies, then I promise we will win. If you can come up with something better than me, then you are more than welcome to start criticizing me until the cows come home. And then I promise we will win. If you can support in any way possible, which might mean like, sharing, or subscribing on this channel, it might be going to standingforwomen.com/Let Women Speak and supporting us there. We are doing a global tour. We are touring the countries that need us most. We are going to Scotland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, Switzerland, Austria. We'll be going to Germany and Spain this year, and obviously back to London as many times as possible, and throughout the rest of the United Kingdom and Ireland. If you can do that, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose.